Hey there, researchers! Welcome to the ultimate guide on using Google Trends to pick a research topic. Whether you're in medical or health fields, this tool can help you find timely and impactful topics. By the end of this guide, you'll know how to navigate Google Trends, explore trends for broad topics like diabetes or mental health, compare multiple terms, for example, comparing interest in different diseases or interventions, filter the data by region and time, and use related search queries to narrow a broad area into a specific research question. Let's dive in. First up, accessing Google Trends. It's super easy. Just visit trends.google.com. No sign-up required. You should see the Google Trends homepage, which features a search bar at the top and trending topics below. Click the search box or the Explore link to start. Now, let's explore a topic's popularity over time. Type in a general topic like diabetes. Google Trends will take you to the Explore page for the term diabetes. The interest over time graph shows how often people search for this topic. Select the desired time frame and region for your trend analysis. By default, Google Trends displays data for the past 12 months and worldwide. The vertical axis is an index from 0 to 100, where 100 is peak popularity. It doesn't show absolute search volume, but how popularity has changed over time. Here's how to interpret the graph. A steady increase means growing interest. For example, interest in mental health has been on a steady rise in recent years and even reached record highs in 2022. Spikes indicate specific events. A huge spike for COVID-19 in early 2020 represents the pandemic's onset, after which the interest gradually declined as urgent searches tapered off. Look for these changes in your topic of interest. For instance, if you see a spike in November, that could be due to Diabetes Awareness Month or news about a new diabetes medication. If there's a dip in the graph, maybe it's a time when fewer people were searching. For example, during holidays, people might search less about health topics. Seasonal variation, like flu searches peaking in winter, shows periodic interest. The key is to observe the trend. Is it relatively steady, rising, or declining? This helps you decide if the topic is gaining momentum, suggesting a hot research area, or if it's stable, declining, in which case you might need a fresh angle to make it interesting. Next, compare multiple search terms. One powerful feature of Google Trends is the ability to compare multiple terms side by side. This is great for identifying which topics are more popular or which one is emerging faster. Use the plus compare feature on the Explore page to analyze terms side by side. Suppose you're interested broadly in public health and want to see what's trending more in the search box that currently has diabetes. Click plus compare and add mental health. Then add a third comparison, COVID-19. Now you should see a multi-line graph with different colors for each term. This multi-line graph shows each term's popularity, helping you spot which topics are more prominent or emerging faster. For COVID-19, you will likely see a massive spike around March 2020 for COVID-19, dwarfing other terms at that moment. After the initial surge, the line declines in 2021 and 2022 as acute pandemic searches eased. This tells us COVID-19 had an explosive peak of interest that later subsided. The line for mental health might not spike as sharply, but you may notice a steady upward trend, especially during 2020-2022. In fact, global searches for mental health reached their highest level ever in 2022, possibly as people coped with the pandemic. There might be a smaller peak or plateau during that period. This suggests mental health has become an increasingly important topic to the public, an indicator that research in this area is timely. The diabetes line may appear relatively flatter or with mild fluctuations compared to the other two. It might have consistent interest over years, since diabetes is a long-standing issue, without a dramatic recent surge. This consistency means the topic is always relevant, but it might not be emerging in the way mental health issues or COVID-related topics have been. By comparing, we discovered that among these, mental health showed a strong rising trend in interest. So if you were deciding between broad areas, this could hint that mental health, or aspects of it, is particularly hot and worth exploring now. In fact, specific queries like how to cure burnout skyrocketed during that time, reflecting a surge in interest in mental well-being and burnout recovery. This shows how comparing related terms can reveal emerging interests that might not be obvious from one search term alone. Step 4 is refining by region and time range. Now that we've seen how to explore topics globally over the default time frame, let's refine our analysis by geography and time. This is extremely useful if your research will focus on a specific location, or if you want to see very recent trends. Adjust the region to focus on a specific country or sub-region. Change the time frame to see trends over periods like past 12 months or 2004 till present. Adjust the time frame depending on what you need. Longer-term views means big picture. Is the topic steadily growing or declining? Any multi-year cycles? Short-term views means recent buzz. Did something just explode in popularity that could signal a hot new topic? For example, try changing the time range for mental health to past 5 years. You'll likely see a gradual rise with a peak around late 2021. Now change to past 90 days. You might see smaller fluctuations, perhaps even a minor uptick around World Mental Health Day, October 10th, or after a specific event. This exercise shows how recent interest compares to the longer-term context. This ensures your data is relevant to your research context. By refining region and time, you ensure the trend data is relevant to your specific research context. If your research is meant to have global significance, the worldwide view is great. If it's targeting a local population or healthcare system, focus on that region's data. Now we get to one of the most exciting parts of Google Trends for researchers, the related topics and related queries. Scroll down to the related queries section. This reveals other popular searches associated with your term. This can help spark ideas for narrowing your research focus. Top queries show the most common related searches. For example, for diabetes, top related queries might be diabetes symptoms, type 2 diabetes, or diabetes diet. These are things people often look up alongside diabetes. Rising queries highlight searches that have recently surged in popularity. These are gold for spotting emerging topics. If you see a percentage like plus 300% or breakout next to a query, it means interest in that query jumped a lot. Breakout specifically means the query grew by over 5,000%. For mental health, related queries might include specific issues or trending questions. In 2021, queries like how to cure burnout or how to maintain mental health were breakout searches. Seeing burnout appear as a rising query tells you that burnout, perhaps workplace or pandemic-related, is a hot subtopic within mental health. A researcher could take that cue and consider a study on burnout intervention or the impact of the pandemic on burnout rates among healthcare workers, for instance. For diabetes, you might find rising queries about new treatments or diet trends. For example, a term like Ozempic, a diabetes medication, could appear due to recent buzz about its use for weight loss. If Ozempic weight loss is showing a high rising percentage, that signals a lot of public interest in that new treatment approach. A researcher might then ask, is this interest warranted? What are the health outcomes? Or consider a project on the effects of off-label medication use. In fact, public interest in new diabetes and weight loss drugs has grown significantly, reflecting how timely this topic. Take some time to scroll through the related queries. Switch to rising, if it's not already selected, because that's typically where you'll see novel or surging topics. Jot down any query that surprises you or seems particularly relevant. These could be niche questions or issues within your broad area that lots of people are suddenly interested in. Also glance at related topics. These are broader terms or topics as defined by Google's knowledge graph related to your search. They too have top and rising. For example, related topics for mental health might show teletherapy or the name of a prominent figure or organization in mental health. Related topics can hint at the context of the interest, like whether the interest is tied to a particular event, person, or trend. These can help you narrow your research focus. Finally, turn trend insights into a research question. Use the gathered data to refine your broad interest into a specific topic. Let's break it down. Start with a broad area like mental health and ask, what specifically within this area is trending or interesting to people lately? Use the clues from related queries, identify a trending sub-area. If mental health is your area and you saw burnout trending, you might narrow down to a topic like burnout among a certain group, for example, healthcare workers, students, or interventions for burnout. Formulate a specific research question, assessing the effectiveness of workplace interventions in reducing burnout among nurses post-COVID-19. This way, your research question is timely, burnout is a rising concern, and targeted. The idea is to go from broad to specific. Broad area, for example, mental health. Trending sub-area, for example, burnout, teletherapy, adolescent mental health, whatever popped up in related queries. Specific research question that addresses a gap or need in that sub-area, for example, studying causes, effects, interventions, or trends in that specific context. Don't forget to cross-check with scientific literature to ensure the topic isn't already extensively researched. Remember to follow the steps for topic selection as presented in our previous video. And there you have it. We've covered how to use Google Trends to explore topic popularity, compare terms, refine searches by region and time, and identify related queries. Applying these steps helps you select a research topic that's both interesting and socially relevant. Here's a list of researchers who've used Google Trends to power their studies. Now it's your turn to make your mark. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to JSteam for more research tips. Happy researching!